When talking about emotional moments, we cannot forget the 2019 World Pool Masters final between David Al-Qaidi and Alex Kazakis. The Greek had a great chance to achieve the greatest success of his life, but in the decider he made a huge mistake at a critical moment, forcing himself to play a safety shot, but deep down he knew that it could be his last shot.
Straight back, of course. For the title. For the title! What a break! He does it again! Amazing shot, amazing finish.
Would never, ever be accepted because it was too far-fetched. He's on the table.
What is also worth mentioning is that despite this painful defeat, Alex returned in the next edition extremely motivated, which led to a surprising 9-0 victory in the final over the great Shane Van Boening.
This year, he turns 30 years of age, Alexander Kazakis.
When looking back at the best matches and most emotional moments in history, we have to stop in 2014 and the World Cup of Pool final. This incredible heel-heel match between Team England and Team Holland sent chills through the crowd, where Team Holland was on the heel leading 9-7, but then Appleton and Boyce started playing very effectively, leading to a draw.
This year's title rests on one rack.
However, in the deciding rack, Darren Appleton gave the cue ball in hand to his opponents right after the break, and it seemed that it was all over. The pressure was enormous, and in a very unexpected moment, Nick Vandenberg left Niels Veen in a very uncomfortable position on the A-ball, which meant that the Dutchman had to force positioning to the 9-ball.
Vandenberg made him work.
This mistake sparked an extremely impulsive reaction from Team England, who were given their chance. As if these emotions were not enough, Carl Boyce unexpectedly missed the A-ball, but very fortunately didn't give his opponents a clear shot.
You're witnessing it, he's got away with it! He's got away with a miss!
Due to lack of ideas and running out of time, Nick Vandenberg simply tried to execute a hit and hope, but unfortunately left another chance for his opponents, which they didn't waste.
Here we go.
The biggest 9 England has hit in their lives. For the very first time, England will be crowned the World Cup of Pool champions.
The history of the Moscone Cup have seen many amazing things. Incredible comebacks like this Darren Appleton's run from 4-1 down against Dennis Hatch in 2010. And flashes of genius that secured important points for the team, like Chris Smalling, who after a brilliant kick secured an important victory for Team Europe in 2012 in the match against Brandon Shaw.
This 9-ball to put the Euros on the hill. Race to 11. Chris Smalling deposits the 9 and the celebration starts. They're only 1 point away from owning the Moscow.
However, it is worth mentioning the year 2018 and the most emotional victory for Team USA, which broke a streak of 8 consecutive losses against Team Europe, which completely dominated that period.
Shane Van Boening and Team USA! Unbelievable!
And how fitting that was, because the final shot was a great combination, and so is the winning team.
A year later, they were able to successfully defend this title on home soil in Las Vegas, much to the delight of the gathered audience.
A bit of change is required, and there you see it. It's over, folks.
They said the key phrase coming to Vegas this year was repeat or revenge.
The 80s and 90s were definitely the prime of the great Air Strickland, an American who set 2 records that have not been broken by any player to this day. Earl's first US Open victory came in 1984, where he defeated another great player Mike Ziegel 11-10. However, it was 2000 that was the most emotional year, when Earl defeated Takeshi Okumura 11-5 in the final in stunning style, which was his fifth victory in this event and an achievement that seemed unbeatable.
This was definitely Earl Strickland's week in Chesapeake, Virginia, wasn't it?
There's no question about it. He wasn't going to be denied this week. He was playing so well, and he just felt it all week long. No one came.
Earl Strickland also holds the record for most wins in the World 9-Ball Championship. He won this event twice in a row in 1990 and 1991, but the most important win came in 2002, when after one of the best finals in history, he defeated the great Filipino Francisco Bustamante 17-15, becoming the only player to this day to hold 3 World 9-Ball Champion titles.
Earl Strickland is the champion of the world. Get Strickland is the Hasselroder 9-ball world champion.
When speaking about the birth of great stars, it is worth mentioning the career of Shane Van Boening.
Van Boening, thank you.
The American rose to the top very quickly and marked his greatness with a rather unexpected victory in the 2007 US Open 9-Ball Championship, one of the biggest tournaments in the world.
It is there, and Shane Van Boening has lifted the 2007 U.S. Open 9-ball champion. Hail Shane Van Boening!
Between 2012 and 2014, Shane won this tournament 3 times in a row, a feat no one had ever achieved before, but his victory in 2016 gave him his 5th triumph in this event, equaling Earl Strickland's record, which I mentioned earlier.
This place is going to erupt. 9-ball on 20. And that is it. What an honor for Barry Behrman. Earlier this week, Shane Van Boening went and visited Barry's grave. He's holding up a 5.
However, I think SVB's greatest personal success was winning the 2022 World 9-Ball Championship, something Shane has always struggled to achieve.
At last! Third time is the charm for Shane Van Boening, as after losing twice in the final, his destiny...
In 2024, Shane had a chance to break the record and win his 6th US Open title, but unfortunately he lost to Fedor Gorst, who with this victory achieved something that no one had ever achieved before.
This year, the man they call the Ghost has left everyone for dead.
2024 was definitely the year of Fedor Gorst, a player who reached such a level of play that it was difficult to beat him.
This looks good to me, you know. This looks perfect.
However, after defeating Joshua Filler in the final of World Pool Masters and Eklund Kachi in the final of World 9-Ball Championship, he became eligible to win a historic Triple Crown for winning the 3 biggest tournaments in one season. The victory over SBB in the US Open was the final piece of the puzzle and made him absolutely immortal.
Open pool champion, the winner of $50,000, Fedor the Ghost. Goal!
The rivalry between Efren Reyes and Earl Strickland in the 1990s was exciting and attracted huge audiences. One of their most famous matches was the competition in a challenge called the Color of Money, where during 3 days of competition they fought for $100,000 US. Efren won this challenge 120-117 after a spectacular comeback on the last day of competition and being 17 racks behind his opponents.
Efren Reyes wins it. He wins it.
However, the most emotional moment of the rivalry between these two players was the final of the 1995 Sans Regency 9-ball Open. The match came down to a dramatic deciding rack in which Efren executed the most famous shot in the history of pool.
No movement, like you said, and you might miss this ball.
This shot allowed him to win this dramatic match, but also to gain unlimited respect from the spectators, but above all, from Air Strickland, who didn't hide his admiration.
You couldn't get no better than that. No wonder you asked me to do this.
What a finish. And I really had to commend Earl.
The duo of Efren Reyes and Francisco Bustamante was a true dream team and led the Philippines to 2 World Cup of Pool victories in 2006 and 2009. The second victory had a special flavor because it was achieved in front of the home crowd.
Django Bustamante bring home the gold. They win the 2009 PartyCasino.net World Cup of Pool.
However, when the biggest stars faded in the background, Dennis Orcolo and Levan Corteza took over the leadership and won an emotional victory in 2013.
I have no idea why he's played that shot like that. Look at Levan Corteza. He can't believe it.
Oh, no fragility there when it really mattered. The cueing held up.
Dennis Orcolio, Levan Corteza, come on down. It's your time, the 2013 World Cup of Pool champion.
The following years saw a clear decline in the form of Team Philippines, which was unable to even come close to final success, where the best result was losing in the 2019 final by a heavy 11-3 to Team Austria.
He is the man. It's Ocean's 11. 11-3.
But everything changed in 2023 when young and hungry players began to make their mark more and more strongly. James Aranas and Johan Chua achieved their long-awaited victory by defeating the very strong Team Germany, composed of Joshua Filler and Moritz Neuhausen. It was definitely a very emotional moment for both players, but also for the entire Philippines, and this success led to an influx of even more young players, who are achieving greater and greater success.
The Philippines have been crowned World Cup of Pool champions.
There have been many unforgettable and emotional moments in the history of World 9-ball Championship, but the year 2012 and the final between Darren Appleton and Lee Hee-wen definitely deserve a mention. The Briton was a huge favorite to win and was well on his way to winning his first World 9-ball Championship title, leading the Chinese 12-6. Needing only one rack for the final triumph, Darren started playing very nervously, which allowed the Chinese player to get back into the match and equalize the score. In the deciding rack, it seemed that Lee took the initiative, playing an effective safety shot and putting a clearly nervous Darren in a difficult position. However, that was another turn of events as the British player made a successful jump shot and finished the remaining layout on the table, showing his emotions right after pocketing the last 9-ball on the table.
الاستوديو التحليلي السريع ونبارك لداريا بيلتون الى هناك زميلي خالد.
The player who made the biggest impact in the history of not only pool billiards is definitely Efren Reyes. From the very beginning, as soon as he appeared in the US, he delighted the audience with his unique style and attitude at the table. As I mentioned earlier, the rivalry with Earl Strickland caused the greatest emotions, but the most important point in this player's career was definitely winning his only World 9-Ball Championship title in 1999.
For the title world champion, he's the king of the 9-ball ring, Efren Reyes. His cue raised in a victory salute.
The world professional pool champion, the magician, Efren Reyes. Greatest player in the history of pool. Pinaka Mangalena. The magician, Efren Reyes.
In the 2000s, Efren Reyes faced the biggest stars of the sport in duels, and one of them was definitely the 2005 IPT A-Ball King of the Hill final match. By defeating Mike Ziegel, he won $200,000, which was the largest win at the time. A year later, Efren faced American Rodney Morris in the final of the IPT World Open A-Ball Championship, where a record $500,000 was at stake. After an incredibly even and tense match, it was Efren who emerged victorious, once again sealing his great power in the pages of history.
Die lange Acht und die fällt. Das war der lange Weg zu einer halben Million US-Dollar.
The IPT 8-Ball Champion of the World.
Das ist Kevin Trudeau, der Gründer der International Pool Tour. Koffer Bades gehört nun ihm. Tja, verteilen wird das jetzt aber.
I'm leaving probably one of the most shocking moments for the very end of this video. On June 14, 2025, the entire billiard world was shocked by the news of the death of Taiwanese professional pool player Chang Jung-lin, a 2012 World A-Ball champion and 2019 World 9-Ball Championship runner-up. However, more shocking were the circumstances of this tragic event, because Chang died after a heart attack while resting in his hotel room in Jakarta, where he was to participate in the Indonesia International Open. After this tragic information, the players and referees gathered to honor the memory of this great player with a moment of silence.
And everybody here at this championship, a moment of silence now.